What does it take for a man to be seen for who he truly is? In the heart of Atlanta, in a gleaming bank lobby where wealth whispers and prejudice lingers, James Carter stood waiting. For 2 hours, he stood, a solitary figure in a tailored navy suit, his polished shoes tapping softly against the marble floor. The bank was alive with the hum of transactions, the clatter of keyboards, and the murmurs of impatient customers. Yet James, a black man with a quiet strength in his eyes, was invisible to the staff. His requests for assistance were met with curt nods, half-hearted promises, and sidelong glances that stung more than words ever could. The bank manager, Mr. Thompson, a wiry man with a permanent smirk, had dismissed James the moment he walked in. "Sir, please wait your turn," he'd said, barely looking up from his desk, though the lobby was hardly crowded. James had nodded politely, his jaw tight, and taken a seat. He'd come to discuss a critical merger, one that could reshape the bank's future, but no one seemed to care. The clock ticked on, each minute a silent accusation. James felt the weight of every stare, every whispered comment from the tellers who assumed he was just another customer with a minor issue. He wasn't. He was so much more. The air grew thicker as the hours dragged. James's patience, a steel thread woven through years of overcoming, held firm. He'd faced this before, rooms where his presence was questioned, spaces where his worth was measured by the color of his skin. But today was different. Today, the truth would demand to be seen. He glanced at his watch, then at the wooden signboard on the counter, its bold, handwritten words catching his eye. Who is he really? The question burned, not just on the sign, but in the hearts of those who'd overlooked him. Then, the glass doors swung open, and the room shifted. 3 board members, impeccably dressed, entered with an air of authority. Their eyes scanned the lobby, not with disdain, but with purpose. The chatter died down. Thompson, sensing their arrival, straightened his tie and hurried forward, his smirk replaced by a nervous grin. "Gentlemen, welcome," he chirped, eager to impress. But the board members didn't acknowledge him. Their gazes locked onto James, and they moved toward him with warmth and deference. "Mr. Carter," the eldest, a woman with silver hair and a commanding presence, called out. "We've been expecting you." The room froze. Thompson's face drained of color, his eyes darting between James and the board members. James rose, his posture calm but unyielding, and extended a hand. "Good to see you, Margaret," he said, his voice steady, rich with quiet power. The other board members greeted him warmly, addressing him not just by name, but as CEO. The word hit the room like a thunderclap. "CEO?" The tellers exchanged panicked glances. Customers whispered. Thompson's mouth opened, but no sound came. James Carter, the man they'd left waiting for 2 hours, was the new chief executive officer of the bank's parent company. The merger he'd come to discuss wasn't just a deal, it was his vision, his leadership, his triumph. And yet, for 2 hours, he'd been treated as less than nothing. Margaret, the board member, turned to Thompson, her eyes sharp. "Why was Mr. Carter kept waiting?" she asked, her tone slicing through the silence. Thompson stammered, his excuses crumbling like dry leaves. "Two didn't realize," he began, but James raised a hand, silencing him. "It's not about realizing," James said, his voice low but resonant. "It's about seeing people. All people." The lobby was a tableau of shame and revelation. James didn't need to raise his voice or demand respect. His presence, now fully recognized, did that for him. He spoke briefly with the board members, outlining the merger with a clarity that left no doubt of his competence. But his words carried a deeper message. Respect isn't earned by titles or wealth, it's owed to every soul who walks through the door. As James left the bank, the board members at his side, he glanced back at the wooden signboard. Who was he really? The question lingered, not just for him, but for everyone. The tellers, the customers, Thompson, they'd all been forced to confront their assumptions. James hadn't just exposed prejudice. He dismantled it, not with anger, but with dignity. In the days that followed, the bank buzzed with change. Thompson was quietly reassigned, and new policies rolled out, emphasizing inclusion and respect. But for James, the victory wasn't in the policies or the merger's success. It was in the moment when eyes met his not with suspicion, but with recognition. He'd waited 2 hours, but he'd also waited a lifetime for a world that sees beyond color, beyond assumptions, to the truth of who we all are. What does it take to be seen? For James Carter, it took 2 hours of patience, a lifetime of resilience, and the courage to stand tall when the world tries to make you small. His story isn't just about a bank or a tight light, it's about the quiet power of humanity, demanding to be acknowledged, one heart at a time. Thank you for listening. If you find it interesting, please like and subscribe to follow the next stories.